My family skipped my housewarming dinner like it was nothing. 6 weeks later, my closing attorney called because my parents had hired a lawyer to sniff around my deed. That's when I realized I wasn't hurt anymore. I was finished. I'd spent my 20s saving for one goal, a small blue house with a white fence. I worked IT, took the late shifts, lived cheap, and ignored my brother Kevin's jokes about me being boring. At a Thanksgiving, he smirked. Maddie treats money like a religion and fun like a sin. Everyone laughed. Mom did that tight smile. Dad kept carving turkey like he didn't hear it. I smiled, went home, and kept building my life anyway. When I finally closed, I sent the family a porch photo with my key and invited Mom, Dad, and Kevin to dinner Saturday at 7. Mom replied, "Oh, wow. Okay." Kevin sent a thumbs up. Dad said nothing. I still cooked all day like showing up was a test they could finally pass. By 7:05, nobody was there. By 7:30, my texts had no replies. By 7:45, my calls went to voicemail. Kevin picked up from a bar, irritated. "Oh, I thought Mom said something came up. I figured it was pushed." Then, "Can we do it another time?" Click. Mom's only message was 5 words. "Busy tonight." Something came up. No congratulations. No apology. I stared at a table set for 5 while the food went cold and the balloons spelling home started sagging. I took the lemon tart I'd made from my grandma's recipe and dropped it in the trash. The thud was louder than the whole night. The next morning, Dad called in his calm, neutral voice. "Your mother and I think buying a house without discussing it with the family was a bit much. Kevin's been struggling. You celebrating like that wasn't sensitive. Think about how your choices affect others." I said, "So you skipped my dinner because I succeeded?" "Don't twist my words." "Dad," I asked, "when you saw me holding that key, were you happy for me? Even for a second?" Silence. "Then, that's not the point." It was absolutely the point. That afternoon, I burned a sign into a cedar board. No family visits, no family discounts, no exceptions. I hung it on my gate and posted a photo with "My house, my rules." It went viral fast. Strangers cheered. My family panicked. Kevin texted, "Take it down. Mom's crying." Dad left a voicemail. "You're embarrassing this family. If you don't delete it, we'll reconsider our relationship with you." Reconsider, like they'd ever shown up for one. A local reporter interviewed me. I gave her screenshots, the invite, the no-show, the messages afterward. The story spread. Then my cousin emailed me the ugly truth my parents never said out loud. Mom had admitted she hoped I wouldn't actually buy a house because it would make Kevin feel bad. She didn't miss my dinner because she was busy. She missed it because she resented the reason for it. 6 weeks after that Saturday, my attorney called. This was the moment that turned my stomach to ice. It was a Wednesday afternoon. My office lights hummed. He said, "Madison, don't panic." Then he asked, "Has your family been asking about your deed?" I blinked hard. He continued steady. "Your parents hired a lawyer. He wants to know if any family funds were used so they can claim an interest." After that, next, again, I opened my bank statements. 10 years, every deposit, every paycheck. I drove straight to his office. We went line by line. He looked up and said, "It's ironclad. If they file, they lose." So we hit back. He sent a cease and desist. I went back to the reporter. The follow-up article wasn't about a misunderstanding anymore. It was about parents trying to take a house they never helped earn. Their lawyer bailed. Their circle found out. My mom's little online candle hustle got dragged so hard she shut it down. Kevin called me drunk and snarled, "You ruined everything." I said, "No, Kevin, I ruined a family that hoped I would fail." He went quiet. I blocked them all the next morning, not out of anger, out of peace. And the funniest part, the house didn't stay empty. A neighbor showed up with pie. A coworker started dropping by for coffee. A couple kids on the block asked what I was doing on my porch with my laptop, so I taught them basic coding. One kid built a tiny calculator program and his mom cried like he'd won a medal. That was the kind of pride I'd been chasing. Months later, I hosted dinner again. Same table, different people. The food got eaten hot. The candles burned low because nobody rushed out. My house finally sounded like home, just not for the people who thought my success was a problem. What would you have done in my shoes? Cut them off or keep trying? Tell me in the comments.